In the year 3087, Earth finally became part of the Galactic Alliance. It was a proud moment for humanity. They had worked for years to prove themselves to the advanced alien civilizations of the galaxy. The Council of Species, made up of the most powerful and intelligent alien races, welcomed Earth, but behind their smiles, many of them laughed. To them, humans were weak, emotional, and too young to survive in the real galaxy. Some said humans would break under pressure. Others called them soft-worlders who didn't understand real danger. So a test was given, a challenge designed to answer one question: can humans survive where no one else could? The Council chose Zereth 9, the most dangerous world ever discovered, a planet so deadly that no species had lasted more than 3 days there. The Council told the humans it was a survival test. In truth, it was a quiet execution. They believed humans would never last, and this would prove once and for all that Earth didn't belong among them. 12 humans were chosen. Some were soldiers, others scientists, explorers, and engineers. Each of them trained for extreme survival, but nothing could prepare them for this. They were dropped onto Zereth 9 with basic survival packs. No high-tech weapons, no way to call for help, and no chance of rescue. Just dropped like seeds onto a stormy battlefield. As their transport ship flew away, the silence of the jungle swallowed them. The planet felt alive. The ground moved under their feet like it was breathing. Trees twisted toward the sky, taller than buildings. Their leaves glowed faintly, pulsing with strange light. Giant insects buzzed through the air, and in the distance, something let out a deep, echoing roar that shook their bones. Commander Raina Pierce, the team leader, signaled everyone to gather. She had short black hair, sharp eyes, and a voice that gave orders like thunder. She had fought in the Mars Uprising and survived the Androx War. But this place made her feel small. No one separates. We stay together. We map the area, find shelter, and stay alive. That's our mission, she said. They moved as a unit, eyes scanning every shadow. The sun, or something like it, was red and low in the sky. It gave the jungle a bloody color. The temperature was hot, humid, and thick with a strange scent, like metal and rotting fruit. Every step made a noise, and every noise made someone jump. After hours of walking, they found a rock formation shaped like a sharp tooth, with a wide cave at its base. It was dark inside, but dry and deep. They agreed it would be their base for now. As night approached, strange lights blinked in the sky. The stars were wrong. Too many, too close, and some moved like they were alive. The team took turns guarding while others rested. The jungle outside never slept. Loud thumps, hisses, and distant screams made it clear they were not alone. On the second night, something came. It was fast, silent, and cruel. A scream woke them all. When they rushed out, one of the engineers, Malik, was gone. Blood led into the trees, but the trail vanished after a few meters, like the forest itself had eaten it. They searched for hours. Nothing. Just silence and the heavy feeling that something was watching. People started to argue. Fear grew. One of the scientists, Dr. Lena, suggested that the planet was not natural. This place feels built, she said, like it was made to test or destroy. Her words made the others uneasy. That night, they set traps. Raina ordered extra guards and told everyone to sleep with a weapon nearby. As the wind howled outside the cave, something strange happened. The floor beneath them began to shake, softly at first, then stronger. Dust fell from the ceiling, and a part of the cave wall cracked open. Behind the stone wall was a hidden tunnel, smooth and unnatural. It led deep underground, glowing faintly with blue veins of energy running through the stone. They followed it, nervous but curious. At the end of the tunnel was a large chamber, perfectly round, with symbols carved into the walls, symbols none of them recognized. In the center of the room stood a strange device. It looked like a crystal growing out of metal, surrounded by floating shards that moved slowly in the air. When Reyna touched it, the whole room lit up. A hologram appeared, the figure of a tall, thin alien with 4 eyes and silver skin. It began to speak in a strange language, then slowly shifted into English. To those who find this message, we are the Velari. We came to Zereth 9 long ago. We built it, but we could not control it. This world is alive. It learns. It adapts. It kills. We left this warning for anyone who comes after. If you wish to survive, you must understand. Zereth 9 is not a planet. It is a weapon. The hologram faded. Silence filled the chamber. The humans stared at each other, unsure what to say. A planet. That was a weapon. Reyna stepped back from the device. Now we know why no one ever made it out. One of the others, Ben, laughed nervously. They didn't send us to test us. They sent us to die. But Lena was thinking, if this world learns, then maybe we can learn faster. Outside the chamber, the jungle stirred. Something large was moving toward the cave. Something heavy, with footsteps that cracked trees. The ground began to shake again, but this time, it wasn't just the planet breathing. Reyna grabbed her weapon and looked back at her team. Get ready. Whatever's coming, we face it together. Just as they climbed back to the surface, they saw it, a creature unlike anything they'd seen before. 8 legs, covered in sharp bone armor, eyes glowing red. It let out a screech that froze their blood. They fired everything they had. The bullets bounced. The creature charged. Then, suddenly, a blast of blue energy hit it from the side, sending it crashing into a tree. Everyone turned. One of the team members, Jonas, was holding part of the alien device they had found. It had reshaped in his hands into a weapon. He looked down at it, shocked. I didn't mean to. It just happened. The creature twitched once, then went still. Reyna looked at Jonas. Keep that thing close. I think we're going to need it. But no one noticed the dark shape watching them from above, high in the trees. 2 yellow eyes blinked, then vanished into the night. Zereth 9 was watching, and it wasn't done with them yet. The creature's body lay still, smoke rising from the deep wound on its side. Jonas couldn't stop staring at the strange weapon in his hands. It had formed from the alien device in the hidden chamber. When he picked it up, it felt warm, like it was alive. It didn't have a trigger, no buttons, no wires, yet it fired a powerful energy blast that saved them all. The others looked at him with a mix of fear and awe. Reyna stepped forward and took a closer look at the weapon. That thing saved us, she said, her voice calm but firm. We need to understand how it works. There might be more like it. The jungle went quiet again, but no one trusted the silence. They dragged the creature's body into the cave to study it. Its skin was hard like armor, covered in strange marks that looked like writing. Lena examined the beast carefully. This thing, it's not just an animal. It looks bioengineered, like it was made. Reyna remembered the hologram from the chamber. Zereth 9 is a weapon. This thing could be part of it. Later that night, they returned to the underground room. The strange crystal still floated in the center, glowing softly. This time, Lena stayed behind, trying to study the carvings on the walls. She ran her fingers across the symbols, feeling a light vibration. Suddenly, a different section of the wall lit up. Another hologram appeared. It was a star map showing planets, lines, and movements. In the center was Zereth 9, marked with a red symbol. A warning. A voice played again, this time in a calm tone. We built Zereth 9 as a test, to train soldiers, to prepare for war. But it became too powerful. It learned to defend itself, and then it learned to hunt. We abandoned it, left it in the dark. But now, others are awakening it. Be careful. The hologram faded again. Lena called out to the others. This planet isn't just dangerous, it's aware. It thinks, it reacts, and it knows we're here. They gathered around the map. The red warning signal blinked slowly, like a heartbeat. Jonas held up the weapon. This thing, whatever it is, it connected to me. It reacted to my DNA. Reyna nodded. That means this tech was meant to be used by us, or something like us. Ben, the engineer, stepped closer. Maybe that's why we're still alive. Maybe this planet is testing us. They spent the next 2 days exploring the hidden chambers underground. They found more strange tools, machines, and writing. Some of it was broken, old, and dead. But a few devices still worked. Glowing panels, floating orbs, and strange keys that opened hidden doors. One chamber had a large table with a holographic model of the jungle above it. Creatures moved in real time. It was a map of the surface. The planet was watching everything, every footstep, every sound. It tracked the humans as dots of light. This is a control center, Lena said, amazed. Someone once used this place to observe the planet, maybe even control it. But the system was damaged. Most of it was offline. Ben worked with the engineer team to power it back up, using solar cells from their survival gear. Slowly, the lights returned. The map grew clearer. That night, something strange happened. One of the other humans, a young medic named Elia, started to act differently. He spoke less, stared at the walls, and claimed he could hear a humming sound underground. No one else could hear it. I think the planet is talking to me, he whispered. At first, the team thought he was just stressed. But then he started drawing symbols on the walls. The same ones from the chamber, perfect copies. He had never seen them before. Lena stayed close to him. He's not going crazy, she told Reyna. I think the planet is choosing him. Reyna didn't like that idea. This planet doesn't choose. It kills. But they couldn't deny what was happening. Elia was changing, not in a scary way, but he was more focused, more aware. He warned them when a storm was coming, before the sensors picked it up. He knew when danger was near. Jonas began training with the alien weapon. It reshaped every time he touched it, forming into blades, shields, even a scanner. It moved with his thoughts. It's like it's part of me, he said. Meanwhile, Reyna found something else. The locked door deep in the ruins, behind layers of collapsed stone. It took 2 days to open it. Inside was a chamber made of black metal, colder than the rest. In the center was a chair, almost like a cockpit. There were bones beside it, alien, tall, with long limbs and sharp teeth. Whatever sat in that chair last never left. Reyna stepped inside, and the room came alive. Lights flickered. A screen opened in front of her, showing more of the galaxy. This was no training room. It was a command center. A final message played. If you're hearing this, you are the last. Zereth 9 will learn from you. It will hunt you. It will copy you. If you survive, you will become more than you are. Then the message cut out. The screen went black. Outside, the jungle screamed. The ground shook. A storm rolled in, but it wasn't just weather. It was alive. Creatures started moving toward the cave, hundreds of them. Some flew, some crawled, some walked like men, but with glowing eyes and twisted bodies. They weren't just wild animals anymore. They looked organized, like an army. Reyna gathered the team. They know we found the control room. They want us gone. Lena pointed to the map. They're not just coming for us. They're circling us, trapping us. Ben slammed his fist against the wall. We need weapons. We need defense. Jonas held up his shifting weapon. We don't need weapons. We need to think like this planet. We need to evolve. Outside, the first creature appeared at the cave entrance. Its eyes glowed bright orange, and its skin was covered in armor that looked like it had grown from the earth itself. It didn't attack. It just stood there, staring. Reyna stepped forward with her team behind her. You want a test, she said. Then bring it. But no one saw what was happening beneath the cave floor. Deep underground, machines began to move. Lights returned to halls that had been dark for centuries. A signal pulsed through the earth. And in space, something heard it. A small alien ship changed its course. It was heading for Zereth 9. The days after the storm were unlike anything the humans had ever experienced. The planet had truly come alive. Everything about Zereth 9, from the jungle to the skies, seemed like it was reacting to them. It was as if the planet itself was learning from their every move, adjusting to their survival strategies. No longer did they feel like strangers on an alien world. They felt like they were being tested, watched by something older, something far more powerful. The cave, once their only shelter, had become a place of last resort. They no longer felt safe inside it. Instead, they ventured further into the ruins, discovering more chambers, more technology, hidden deep beneath the surface. They scavenged for what they could: tools, weapons, and scraps of information that would help them understand the planet's secrets. Jonas had become the team's go-to expert on the alien weapon. It wasn't just a weapon anymore. It was something else, something more. He had learned how to control it, how to reshape it, almost like it was responding to his thoughts. It was as though the weapon had fused with his mind. No one could explain it, but they all saw how powerful it was. "This is our best chance," Jonas said one evening as he examined the weapon, now shaped into a sword-like form. "The planet is trying to make us its own, but maybe, just maybe, we can use it against it." Raina looked at him, her face determined. "We don't have a choice. Whatever this planet is doing, it's not letting us leave." The more they explored, the more they learned about Zereth 9's power. The planet was alive, in a way no one could fully understand. It wasn't just the creatures that were changing. The land itself seemed to evolve, to adapt to the humans' movements. The alien tech they found was like a guide, showing them how to use the planet's resources. But it was clear that Zereth 9 had been abandoned for a reason. The more they interacted with it, the more dangerous it became. But they didn't have time to dwell on the risks. The alien creatures were getting smarter. The forest around them no longer felt like a wild jungle. It felt like a trap. Every rustle in the trees, every distant growl, every shadow that moved, it all seemed like part of a larger plan, a plan they couldn't fully understand. And with each passing day, their numbers grew smaller. The creatures were relentless. Elijah, the medic, had become an essential part of their survival. His connection to the planet, whether it was a gift or a curse, was becoming stronger. He could sense the creatures before they arrived. He knew when a storm was coming. He even began to predict the movements of the jungle, as if he could hear its whispers. But there was something unsettling about him, too. His eyes had begun to glow faintly in the dark, just like the creatures they were fighting. His hand sometimes trembled when he touched the ground, as if the planet's energy was flowing through him, changing him in ways they didn't fully understand. "This place is changing me," he admitted one night. "I don't know if it's a gift or a curse, but I can feel it. I can feel the planet, its heartbeat. It's alive, and it knows we're here." Lena, the scientist, had begun to study the planet's energy sources. Zereth 9 wasn't just a deadly world. It was a power source, like a living battery. The ancient alien civilization that had once lived here had used the planet's power for warfare, for survival, for everything. It was clear now that the creatures, the planet itself, were products of that ancient technology. Zereth 9 wasn't just a test. It was a weapon built to evolve and adapt, to learn from its enemies, to become stronger. "The more we fight, the more it learns," Lena said, staring at a glowing map of the jungle that the aliens had left behind. "We're just a small part of something much bigger. This world is testing us in ways we can't even imagine." The team knew they needed to fight back, but they didn't know how. Zereth 9 was an enemy unlike any they had faced before. It wasn't just a planet. It was a living, breathing machine. And it was evolving faster than they could adapt. That night, They made a plan. They would split into groups and explore the deepest parts of the ruins. They needed to find something, anything, that could help them control the planet's power. But even as they made their plans, they could feel the eyes of the planet on them, watching their every move. As they set out the next day, the jungle felt different. The air was thick with anticipation. It was like the world was holding its breath, waiting for something to happen. The trees loomed over them, twisted and contorted, as if the very land was alive and watching. Reyna led one group to the east, toward the old ruins they had discovered earlier. The structures were ancient, worn down by time, but the technology inside them still hummed with energy. The deeper they went, the more the world seemed to shift around them. The ground trembled beneath their feet, the air grew colder. And then they found it. At the center of the ruins, they discovered a massive stone door, covered in strange, shifting symbols. It was unlike anything they had seen before. The door seemed to pulse with an energy that made their skin tingle. Lena approached cautiously, her hand hovering over the symbols. She had a theory that the door was more than just a barrier. It was part of the planet's system, part of its consciousness. She stepped back. "We're getting closer," she said quietly. "This door, it's connected to everything. It's like the heart of Zereth 9. As she spoke, a rumbling sound filled the air. The ground beneath their feet began to shake violently. The jungle around them came alive, and the creatures began to move toward them, faster than before. Reyna pulled out her weapon, now fully powered. "It's a trap," she muttered. "The planet knows we're here. It's coming for us." In the distance, the rest of the team heard the sound. The shrieking, the growling, the pounding of heavy feet. The creatures were everywhere. They were surrounding them. "We need to get inside," Reyna shouted. Now, the door began to open, but slowly, too slowly. The team rushed toward it, but the creatures were too close. They could hear them now, their deep guttural roars. And then, from the darkness, the first of the creatures emerged, a towering figure with red, glowing eyes, its body covered in bone-like armor. Jonas fired the alien weapon, but the creature didn't flinch. It was like the planet itself had given it armor. It was learning. "Elia," Reyna called out, "we need your help. Now." Elia stepped forward, his hands trembling as he reached out to the earth beneath him. He closed his eyes, listening. Then, with a sudden movement, he slammed his palms into the ground. A wave of energy shot through the earth, and the ground shook violently. The creatures paused, disoriented. "This planet is mine," Elia said softly. "I can control it." But the battle wasn't over. It was just beginning. The ground shook violently beneath them. The creatures, more powerful and organized than ever, surrounded them, closing in from every direction. Reyna's heart raced as she looked around. The jungle, once a place of strange beauty, had become a deadly maze, alive with movement and danger. Jonas raised his weapon, ready to fire, but the towering creature that had stepped forward didn't flinch. Instead, it growled low, as if it understood them. It wasn't just a wild animal. It was a soldier, a product of Zereth 9's twisted evolution. "We need to move," Reyna snapped. "Inside the ruins. We can't fight them out here." The group scrambled toward the massive stone door, but the creatures were too close. They could hear their breath, their roars, echoing through the jungle. The earth seemed to pulse beneath their feet, almost as if the planet itself was alive, pushing them into the waiting jaws of its monsters. But then, Elia did something that none of them had expected. He stepped forward, his eyes glowing faintly as he reached out with both hands. "I can control it," he muttered, more to himself than to anyone else. His voice was steady, but his hands shook. The power that was flowing through him, the connection he felt to Zereth 9, was growing stronger. Too strong. The creatures hesitated for a moment, and the ground beneath them trembled again, as if they too could feel the shift in energy. A strange silence filled the air. Then Ilya's voice broke through it, low and commanding. "Back. All of you back." A wave of energy rippled out from him, sending a shockwave through the ground. The creatures stumbled, their movements uncoordinated, confused by the sudden disturbance. They paused, blinking, as if unsure of what to do next. For a moment, the humans were safe, but they all knew it wouldn't last long. Reyna looked at Ilya. "What did you do?" Ilya's eyes flickered. I don't know. It's like the planet is listening to me. I can feel it." Lena stepped up, her face filled with concern. "Ilya, this isn't just a gift. You don't know what the planet can do. We don't know what you're unleashing." But Ilya wasn't listening. He stepped closer to the creatures, his hands raised. The power was coursing through him, stronger with every second. "Stay back," Reyna shouted. "Ilya, stop." But it was too late. The creatures began to move again, more aggressively than before. This time, they didn't hesitate. They charged. They were faster, smarter, and angrier. It was as if the planet had realized Ilya wasn't a friend. He was a threat. The creature that had been at the front, the one with red eyes, lunged at Ilya, its massive claws reaching for him. Without thinking, Ilya raised his hands, and the ground beneath the creature buckled. A deep crack formed in the earth, sending the creature tumbling into a chasm that opened up beneath it. The humans stared, wide-eyed. "That's it," Reyna muttered. "We've crossed a line." Lena looked at the crack in the earth, then at Ilya. "It's not just the creatures you're controlling now. You're controlling the planet itself." Ilya's breathing was heavy. "I don't know if I'm controlling it. It feels like the planet is controlling me." Just then, the ground shifted again. A low hum filled the air, like a machine powering up. The ruins they were standing in began to glow, ancient symbols lighting up across the walls. The stone door creaked open, revealing a vast chamber beyond. The lights flickered in a pattern, like a beacon calling them in. Reyna nodded. "We don't have time to figure this out. We need to move. Now." They rushed into the chamber, but as they passed through the door, something else happened. The walls shifted. A loud metallic sound echoed as the door slammed shut behind them. The chamber was now sealed. Inside, the room was filled with strange technology. Metal panels, glowing lights, and more symbols covered every surface. It was like stepping into the heart of the planet's mind. Ilya could feel it immediately, the pulse, the rhythm of the world around them. "This is it," he said softly, his voice filled with awe. "This is where it all started." The team gathered around him, staring at the array of screens and devices. "What is this place?" Jonas asked, his voice tight. "It's a control center," Lena said. "It's the source of the planet's power. We're standing in the center of its mind." But as she spoke, something strange happened. The symbols on the walls began to glow brighter, the machines around them humming with energy. Then, from one of the walls, a hologram flickered to life. It was the same tall, silver-skinned figure they had seen before, the one that had warned them about Zereth 9. The hologram spoke again, its voice cold and robotic. "To those who have come to Zereth 9, understand this. You are not the first to attempt control. Many have tried before. All have failed. Zereth 9 is not a planet. It is a weapon. It is a consciousness that adapts, learns, and becomes stronger. It feeds on conflict. It grows with each battle. And now, you are part of it." The hologram flickered out, leaving the team in stunned silence. "We're trapped," Reyna said, her voice barely a whisper. "We've become part of the weapon." Lena's eyes were wide with fear. "It's not just a weapon. It's a sentient weapon. It's been waiting for something like us." Jonas tightened his grip on the alien weapon. "We can't let it win. We need to destroy it." Ilya looked at him, a strange, conflicted expression on his face. "I don't think we can destroy it. It's too alive. It's part of the planet, part of everything." Reyna stepped forward, determination in her eyes. Then we need to control it. If we can control this place, maybe we can turn its power against it. Maybe we can use its own weapon against Zereth 9. But as the words left her mouth, the ground trembled once more. A loud, deafening roar echoed through the chamber. The creatures outside had found their way in. They were not just animals. They were warriors, ready to fight to the death. And this time, it wasn't just a battle for survival. It was a battle for the fate of Zereth 9 itself. "Get ready," Reyna said. "This is it. We either win or we die trying." But as they prepared for the final fight, Elias stepped back. He could feel the planet's heartbeat in his chest. It was growing faster, louder, more insistent. He wasn't sure if he was ready for what was coming next, but he knew one thing for certain. Zereth 9 wasn't going to let them leave without a fight. The air inside the chamber was thick with tension. The creatures outside were growing closer, their roars echoing off the walls of the control center. The planet seemed to be aware of every movement, every breath. The energy around them felt heavy, as if it was pulsing with the heartbeat of Zereth 9 itself. Reyna looked at the team, her eyes filled with determination. "This is it. We either fight, or we let this planet destroy us." Jonas gripped the alien weapon in his hands. It had changed again, shifting into a long, jagged blade, sharp enough to cut through the stone walls of the chamber. "We're not going down without a fight." Lena scanned the control panels in front of them, her fingers moving over the glowing symbols. There's got to be something here, some way to turn the planet's power against it. But Elia didn't look at the control panels. His eyes were closed, his face pale, as if he was listening to something deeper. The connection between him and the planet was growing stronger, and with it came an overwhelming sense of unease. He had no control over what was happening to him. "Elia," Reyna asked, her voice full of concern. "Can you hear me?" He slowly opened his eyes, his pupils glowing faintly in the dark. "I can hear it," he whispered. "It's calling me. The planet. It wants me to join it, to become part of it." Lena stepped forward, shaking her head. "That's not you, Elia. You're still human. Don't let it take you." But Elia wasn't listening. The power of the planet was too strong. He could feel it pulling him in, like a magnet, urging him to give in to its will. His body trembled with the effort to resist. He wanted to fight, but the pull was overwhelming. The ground shook beneath their feet, and the loud roars of the creatures grew louder. The walls of the chamber began to tremble, and the lights flickered. The control center was waking up, responding to the presence of the creatures outside. The planet's power was growing, ready to unleash its full force. "We don't have time for this," Reyna said, her voice urgent. "Elia, you have to fight it. We need you." But Elia could barely hear her. The planet's voice was louder now, speaking directly to him. It promised him power. It offered him control over the creatures, over the entire world. It offered him a place in its new order. He took a deep breath, forcing the planet's voice out of his mind. I can't hold it back much longer." Suddenly, the door to the chamber slammed open. A massive creature, its body armored in bone and glowing with the same energy that ran through Elia, stepped into the room. Its eyes locked onto the group, and it let out a deafening roar. Behind it, more creatures poured in, filling the chamber with their terrifying presence. Reyna didn't hesitate. She raised her weapon and fired at the lead creature, but it barely flinched. The shot had no effect. The planet had made these creatures stronger, smarter, and more resilient. "We need a plan," Jonas shouted. Lena quickly examined the control panels again. "If we can disrupt the core systems, maybe we can shut it down, but we'll need to get to the center of the chamber. That's where the power is coming from." Reyna turned to Elia, her voice filled with urgency. "Can you help us? You're the only one who can feel the planet's power." Elia hesitated, his body still trembling. He felt the planet's pull stronger than ever before. But he knew he couldn't give in. Not yet. I'll try. Together, they moved toward the center of the chamber, where a large, glowing core hummed with energy. It was the heart of Zereth 9, the source of its power, and it was pulsing faster with every passing second. But the creatures were closing in. They could hear their heavy steps, the scraping of claws against the floor. There was no time left. The final battle was here. Reyna, Jomis, and Lena reached the core, their weapons ready. But Elias stood back, his eyes closed again as he tried to focus on the energy around them. The planet was fighting him. It didn't want him to interfere. "We need to act now," Lena shouted, pulling at the control panel in front of her. Jomis held the weapon in both hands, preparing to make a move. But just as he was about to strike, the ground beneath them shifted violently. A massive wave of energy shot up from the core, knocking them all off their feet. The creatures outside roared in response, as if they were drawn to the power. "We can't stop it," Reyna shouted, struggling to stand. Elia's body began to glow with the same energy that was flowing through the core. The planet had almost fully taken him, and the energy surged through him like a storm. He cried out, his body writhing in pain as he tried to resist the planet's control. "Fight it, Elia," Reyna screamed. "You can't let it win." But Elia couldn't stop it. The energy was too much. His body began to crack, his skin turning into the same glowing substance as the creatures. He could feel the power of Zereth 9 coursing through him, taking over his mind, his body. And for a brief moment, he thought about giving in, to become one with the planet, to be its new leader. But then, something inside him snapped. He remembered who he was. He remembered his friends, his team, the people he was fighting to protect. With a final, desperate scream, he forced the power out of his body. The energy exploded from him in a blinding burst of light. The creatures outside paused. The ground trembled. And then everything went quiet. When the light faded, Elia was lying on the ground, unconscious but alive. The power of the planet had receded. The creatures were gone. The chamber was silent, save for the hum of the core. Reyna rushed to Elia's side, checking for any signs of life. He was breathing, but barely. Lena wiped the sweat from her brow. "We did it. We stopped it." Jonas looked around at the stillness of the chamber. But at what cost? Reyna looked down at Elia, then back at the core. "We're not out of danger yet. The planet is still alive. We can't let it win." The control center had fallen silent, but the planet was far from defeated. Zereth 9 was alive, and it would always fight back. The humans had won this battle, but the war for Zereth 9 was far from over. As they made their way out of the chamber, they knew one thing for certain. The final stand had just begun.